The Jake's Birthday Book Drive will run from March 14th through the 21st, and it's an opportunity for people to bring books to Jake's favorite haunts to be then donated to the International Book Project. The International Book Project then takes them and distributes books locally and around the world, and they go to prisons, homeless shelters, schools, daycare centers, and they do a really excellent job of matching the books to the people they're giving them to. They do a lot of work to understand the organizations who are getting them and what would be helpful to them. The places that people can drop books are West 6 Brewing, Good Foods Co-op, High Street YMCA, Sav's Restaurant, Cup of Commonwealth, and 3rd Street Stuff, and they will all have boxes available to put your books. The International Book Project has specifications for books so they can just make the best fit for people. And so the books that they're looking for are books for adults, fiction and nonfiction, books for children, both picture and chapter books, and they say they never have enough board books, so if people have those in their collections, it would be great to bring those. They're also looking for textbooks, particularly in the topics of math, English, and science. Medical textbooks are really helpful, and they take medical journals as well. They're also looking for reference books like dictionaries, thesaurus, encyclopedias newer than the year 2000, and vocational books. And because of the nature of their work, there are some books they can't take. So they can't take magazines, self-help books, no cookbooks, gardening books, religious books. So as people are culling through their collections, if they'll keep that in mind. They also would like the books to be in excellent quality, books that people would be happy to get. So no broken spines, no torn pages, not a lot of writing in the books. And we're hoping this will be a win-win, that people will be able to clear off their shelves some, take the books in, and then also maybe become regular donors to the International Book Project. The other thing I should mention is we don't want any of the locations to be overloaded, because that would just kind of make this system a little harder to manage. So if people have more than 20 books they want to donate, they can actually call the International Book Project and set up an appointment to bring their books to them in that way. And if you do make a donation to Jake's Birthday Book Drive and go to the venues that I mentioned earlier, you will get, if you would like, a Jake bookmark that says "Always bring a book," and then a picture of a bicycle leaning against a tree, because he was an avid cyclist and one of the co-founders of Trees Lexington. We chose this partly because we were just looking ahead to the month of March when he passed and when his birthday was, and just trying to figure out how to make that less heartbreaking. So we wanted to do something very positive, something Jake cared about. And if there's one thing that Jake cared about, it was books. That man loved to read more than anyone I know. He read so broadly. He knew so much about so much, and he really saw knowledge and information as power and as a way to make the world a better place. The more informed we all are, the better things might go. So he taught history and logic at the community college, and really promoted books that way. In addition to having a master's in history, he had a master's in library science. It was just, he was never happier than when he was sitting in this chair reading a book, or in a library, or in a bookstore. One other thing, while we're on the subject of Jake Gibbs and books, One of the projects that he did in life that he loved the very most was a 722-page bibliography on little blue books. It took him 20 years to do this with the help of our daughters, Delia and Delaney Gibbs. And if you don't know what little blue books are, you're not alone. These are books that were first started to be published in the 1920s, and they were the way to get information to people who may not have access to them. They were very small. You could put them in your pocket, and they covered a vast variety of topics on everything from science and philosophy and history and just almost any topic you could think of. People could buy a high school education for about $8, and there were 30 million of these books sold. So they were a really important part of social and cultural history and the way information got to people who otherwise wouldn't have access to it. So this is Jake Gibbs' Little Blue Book Collection. It is one of 2 complete sets that exist in the world. There are 2,300 of these books that he, took years collecting. And just to give you an idea of some of the topics, so here's Hints on Writing a One-Act Play, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, Your Intelligence and How to Test It, Harmony Self-Taught, Curiosities of the Law, Common Faults in Writing English, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, as I said earlier, it covers so many topics, but this was his pride and his joy. And we're so happy that he completed this the year before he died, so it was finished. And what our task is now is he wanted these books then to be divided up to complete 5 other libraries around the country. So there are 20 libraries around the country that have impartial collections. And so he's got enough that he could fill out 5 of them. So that is going to be one of our tasks in honor of Jake Gibbs and books.